last year, I felt like I was like, I don't know, it was really different. Now you got me thinking. Back in like 2022, I felt like I was maybe, I don't know if you guys went through this period ever, but maybe it's just like, you know, portions of like my fan base that used to be here or like is not here anymore. I used to feel like I was walking on eggshells all the time over anything and anything I did, because I remember like I always had to be mindful of like joking around with a friend or two. Like there's like certain people I collab with, and I remember like if I made if I make too far of a joke, people would read too much into that, right, and give me so much shit. Like when it's like, this is my friend, I normally shit around and like, you know, just joke around with them, but then like, you know, you'll have people that think too far into that and think like, oh, why are they being so rude, right? And then at that point I got donation messages. I remember getting messages. Yes, from like from people, yeah, these some donation messages tell me like, hey, you probably don't like, when you're interacting with so and so's community, be careful, don't like be too it's blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've known this person for a while. Like you can't, why are you trying to backseat my friendship right now? Right?
You make them uncomfortable.
Yes, no, that's what happened. That's literally what happened. They're like, you're making them uncomfortable, and you're making their fans uncomfortable too. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're perfect. And I talked about it.
That we literally have Discord. Okay,
I talked about it with them in private.
We hang out off stream too, bro. Shut the fuck up.
I talked about it with them in private, and they were like so shocked at it, but like they can't do anything because it's just like, that's just, they kind of have to suck it up, right?
Reading into it.
But like for me, I was just like so shocked. It was a big culture shock to me, because I think it's like, it also was like around that idol culture type of thing too, right? But it was my first, or like one of my first wake up calls to be like, wait, this isn't normal, right? That's just like, what happened? Like like you don't I feel so nice, because like this year and last year were like very polar opposites, because like the people I'm hanging out more often with this year, like I feel so much more free to make so many different jokes and not like get shit on by their communities too. Like I can poke fun at you guys or like everybody that I play with nowadays or collab with nowadays, because it's like natural, right? Like you want to be able to, your chat would never obviously, but before I would be so stressed about little things like that, because like I would always get random donation messages about people like taking it too far and like warning me to like, hey, you don't want to do this, don't do this, don't do that, you might not want to say this. It's like, wait,
it's like, bro,
what's going on? I feel like, am I crazy for this? No, I'm not crazy. It's just like, I think it's just a matter of different fan bases or some shit.
So
and they make you feel like you're crazy, because when multiple people say something, you doubt always. You're always like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's
like everyone
the thing.
Wants to be courteous,
I started getting really in, like getting it in my head, because multiple people were saying. I was like, wait, bro, am I like in the wrong? Yeah, wait, bro, should I not be doing this? But then like, it's because once you hear it from a few people or like that you don't know, it's like, wait, it gets to you, right? But then you talk to like your friends, and then you realize, oh wait, you're not crazy. And that's why I like to talk about these things with my friends, because they help keep me grounded in reality and like make me remember like, oh shit, that's not normal, right? You don't need to.
That's not very common here. Like I personally, I push back against people that do things that I don't like, even if it's not that bad. Like they're not breaking a huge rule. If I just don't like a behavior, I'm snarky and mean about it, because I'd rather those people like, one, get it and stop, or just dislike me and like not show up to my chat. Like I'd rather that than have them like show up and be like, anyway, you should do this. Like I'm not gonna be nice to them, you know? So I don't sometimes people are like, oh, she's so mean, but I'm like, I have to push back a little extra hard to make sure that I'm not uncomfortable, you know? So I'll be a huge asshole sometimes. Someone will come into my chat and they'll be like, hey, you shouldn't do this to your friend. And I'll be like, okay, buddy, did you forget that we have Discord? Because actually I could just message them anytime. So don't shut up. You know, like I'm like that.
Shut the fuck up.
Because just to make sure that like other people see that and they're like, oh, right.
No,
but I'm also super strict. When people trying to start shit, they're like, I think you should do this, or I think you shouldn't hang out with this person. Or shut the fuck up, Ben. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I have like a lower tolerance to that nowadays, because before like it would make me think, right? And then it's like, why do I even need to think
That's
about that? I'm
fucked
just
up.
like, okay, that's like, I shouldn't even listen to you at that point, right? Because
Right.
I don't know, like one side I can understand their worry, but the other side is like, you gotta understand, like, these are people that I
Like
interact
you're
with.
friends
Like,
with them.
it's like we're
you
all
don't know
most
the full story.
we're adults. Yeah, you don't know the full story, but again, it's like people worry too much about that kind of thing.
Like
when it comes to
that
certain
was read too
creators,
much
right?
into it. I hate it. Like I had, and I luckily never had the thing where I bantered too much with people. Luckily, I felt like a lot of people had that happening, especially when suddenly someone collabed with like the other gender VTuber. I felt like people had a phase where they had to be so careful about what they say, even when you make sexual jokes all the time, you had to be careful when suddenly you collab with the other gender. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna fucking do that. Fuck that
I don't
shit.
think I ever had that problem, to be honest. Like, I feel like
I understand.
I get what you mean though, because we've talked about it before. But like, whenever I collab with girls, it didn't really seem like there was ever an issue, at least as far as I'm aware, because it's just like, I'm just chill with everybody, and like in the terms of like, oh, people get overreactive if like a guy collabs with a girl and they start like thinking like, oh, they're dating, blah blah blah, and it's like, no, that's
You
not
like
shit, that's not it,
immediately
man.
like, bro,
Was that
shut
the
the
thought
fuck up.
process?
You can hang out without dating, bro. Oh no, is that a
No.
hitting a nerve?
I get damage.
No.
It's not.
This whole conversation is pretty much like, if anyone here has ever had like this type of experience, it's definitely me. Okay.
Oh no!
I think I'm the most experienced here for every single thing you guys have said. So
Yep.
yeah. I'm just like, I'm being reminded of all the shit that's happened, bro.
PTSD
Dude's
is
having
used
war
to-
flashbacks while we were talking. I was like, wait, why is he so
saw
quiet?
him
I was
look
like, oh,
off
wait
to
a
the side.
second.
I was like, oh, there he goes.